Hey, you. Yeah, you. It's time to get up. The show is starting.
Drinkade, ready for distribution worldwide.
So, how was your Saturday night? I hope it wasn't too good because we got a show to do. This is Good Morning with Mike Said It First. I'm your host, Michael Corbellis, and it's time for some Sunday morning sports talk. But first, here's what you missed, presented by Drinkade Berry with caffeine and double B12 to help wake you up and, get over that monkey on your shoulder. Yesterday, Serena Williams defeated Sloane Stephens in the third round of the U.S. Open. The Raptors tied up the series with the Celtics 2 games apiece. Nuggets beat the Clippers as Kawhi Leonard struggled. And here's a little interesting stuff, little news I throw in there every Sunday morning. Apparently, there was a viewing of Moon and Mars last night. You look that up on Twitter. That's pretty interesting. A lot of people got a photo of a gigantic moon, and you could also see Mars like about northeast of it. That was pretty cool. I didn't get to see it. We had a bunch of lightning in our sky last night. And there was a Trump boat parade where a bunch of Trump supporters crashed boats with each other on a lake. Now, interesting thing about this, if you have not heard this part of the story, apparently that lake does not get much waves at all. So people were wondering, well, how is that possible? How they capsized? Apparently it was the wake of the boats. The things people do for politics, that's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, so let's go and get started. Here are our topics presented by Drinkade. And by the way, it is Sunday morning. It is Sunday morning. Giannis Antetokounmpo, I've said for a little bit that I felt like the Bucks were going to retain him. I'm not so sure. We'll talk about Giannis and we'll talk about Budenholzer, the whole playing situation. Why hasn't he been playing? Is it a problem? Also, the Miami Heat look pretty good. They're 7-0 in the playoffs. What is their potential this season? Is Jimmy Butler onto something? Leonard Fournette to the Buccaneers gives Tom Brady absolutely no reason to not succeed this season. The Houston Rockets put the clamps down on the Lakers, and I told you guys the Rockets would give the Lakers trouble. How far can the Rockets go? Can they even beat the Lakers? Mitchell Trubisky has been named the starting quarterback over Nick Foles. Yes, the Super Bowl champion Nick Foles in Chicago. Do I agree? Have I told you so? And also, is college football worth it, without teams like Ohio State and Oregon? We'll talk about that as well. Our first topic, though, is Giannis Antetokounmpo, and my goodness, this is kind of pathetic. Now, as a Miami Heat fan, last Sunday I told you guys, and I know there's a bunch of people on Twitter, if you go on Twitter, Miami Heat fans can be a little bit toxic. We'll put it that way. And I was not one of the ones who was just saying, oh, the Miami Heat are just going to walk to the finals. I literally have a podcast, which is this right here. I try to be unbiased. I literally predicted the Heat in 6. I don't even know if the wildest dreaming Heat fans could see a sweep. The Bucks are down 3-0. And Giannis Antetokounmpo, the probable MVP of 2 times now, he's already Defensive Player of the Year. That guy shot 0 for 3. That guy played like 32 minutes. What's going on in Milwaukee? I'm a Miami Heat fan. I'm just salivating right now. Because on one side, I'm obviously rooting for LeBron James and the Lakers. And they got punked by the Rockets. We'll get to that later. But right now, I am just perplexed because I'm like, I thought we could beat them, but I didn't think it'd be this easy. I told you guys before the series started that Giannis Antetokounmpo he's setting a wall and clamping him up inside. Is he going to settle for three? Well, he settled 7 times, and those were 7 of the ugliest threes you will ever see in your life. Giannis, also on defense, when he's in foul trouble, he starts showing his emotions in ways that are probably not conventional for a superstar. Giannis is a problem here. As great as he has been all year, I've said before he might be the best player in the world next year. But I told you guys to wait until the playoffs to see if when push came to shove and he got frustrated, could he knock down jumpers? He went 0 for 7 from 3. Now then you have the flip side of it. See, Twitter likes to do this thing where they blame people. They'll blame the refs. They'll blame teammates. But then they do this thing that's interesting. They blame head coaches. Mike Budenholzer, yes, I get it. He had the Hawks as the number 1 seed, but who's thought they were getting past the Cavaliers with LeBron? Mike Budenholzer had Giannis last year. And granted, the Raptors came through and beat them. They should have. They were the better team. This year, the Bucks are the number 1 seed in the East. It's all about Giannis. It's championship or bust. And people blame Mike Budenholzer for playing the guy like 33 minutes. One, I don't think Giannis cares because from his post-game interviews, he's doing what the coach tells me to do. Okay. We can push that aside. Maybe that's just stupid, right? Well, then you have this other little trick that Giannis does where he gives his all on every single possession. The dude is sweating from head to the bottom of his toes so much times in the game. I don't expect him to play 40 minutes in playoff basketball. I know it sounds taboo. I know people are going to say, "Oh, you don't know basketball. He's a superstar." I get that. But when all you do is run to the rim and bully people, yeah, you might get a little tired. Now, 33 minutes, a little bit little. But 45 minutes, I don't see that. I don't blame Mike Budenholzer. I don't. I know it sounds stupid. I know people are going to, call me out for that. But here's the best part about it. I don't care. My show is called Mike Said It First. And the reason I made that show name is because I'm unpopular a lot of times when it comes to these sports takes until the sports play out. I said Heat in 6. It's probably going to be a sweep. I don't see how the Bucks can come back from this. Let alone get a game in. So speaking of those... and by the way, before I get going on the next topic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, I've said for a few months now, I do believe he will stay with the Bucks. Let him get clamped up and swept. He's not. I could see if he lost in 6 or 7 and, it was just a tough series. I feel like the guy's from Greece. It's not like he was born in America and he's just ready to hop to LA or Miami. I don't really see that being the case. I think Budenholzer's a good coach. They have a really good system around him. He just needs to get better. You can't just blame the team you're on. The Bucks have played this perfectly, and Giannis just doesn't have a jump shot to save his life. So I believe Giannis will bounce. Should he? No. Now, the hype train on Twitter and various other places will tell you that Giannis should go to Miami, that Giannis should go to Golden State. Just There's free agent destinations that didn't exist until Kevin Durant or LeBron James came there. I don't just think he hops over there just like that. I don't think that happens. But let him get swept, it might happen. And that would cause me more speculation. If I'm the Bucks, the last thing I want to do is get swept. I mean, obviously that's easier. But like, obviously that's like, I mean, like that's not like a bold take or anything. But if it was like Game 5 or Game 6 and Bucks are down 3-1 or 3-2, they lose the next game, okay, Giannis get better and then we'll see what happens. But if he gets swept, it's so much different. It's like people are going to say he has no help or it's the Bucks holding him back. I think it's Giannis is holding back himself. As great as he has worked to this point, he's forgotten a jump shot. It's better than Ben Simmons. But that's about all it's better than. He's not saying a lot. How about the Miami Heat? My Miami Heat, our Miami Heat, if you're a Heat fan, thank you for watching and listening. So, Jimmy Butler, and I've gotten in a couple arguments in the past few days on Twitter about, is Jimmy Butler really the guy? And like, yeah, he scored 30 points, including 18 in the fourth quarter. And yeah, he closes games for us, but I feel like we need a co-star. Oh, well, he's got you to the playoffs. Not true. Jimmy Butler has pushed us to a new level, but we will not win the championship, and I will be shocked if we do. Jimmy Butler has been all talk because it's worked out. Tyler Hero is a polished rookie. Bam Adebayo, who I love since day one, has been really good for us and really developed well. Kendrick Nunn, kind of off, but he's playing better. Goran Dragic is a miracle off the bench, and of course he's been starting, but he's a miracle in the fourth quarter and off the bench. Duncan Robinson, Jay Crowder was sniping threes pretty well. Here's the thing. We need a co-star. Jimmy Butler, he can take over games. He can. But he doesn't do it enough, and I don't know what it is. But he's, like, on one side of my brain, yeah, he's a killer. He's a stone-cold assassin. Listens to country music. The dude's just built differently. I believe he's one of the hardest-working guys in the NBA. But the other half of my brain is like, why doesn't he score 40 every night? Because he's capable of doing so. I don't know. Maybe it's because when he came in the league, he wasn't a great jump shooter to begin with. He kind of like worked at it. Giannis. He kind of worked at it. And now it's like, oh, well, he looks pretty good right now. I don't know, though. But Jimmy Butler's been on record saying, oh, you guys will see what happens when we play good. There was a soundbite or a lip sync of him on the broadcast saying, yeah, we have some, screw ballers. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, that's right, we're good. You get it. Like, the guy's mouthing off, and he should be. But I still feel like we need another score. Now, when we play the Celtics or the Raptors in the next round, first of all, I'd rather play the Celtics because the Raptors play the same game we do. The Raptors play that tough, fight for every possession, fight for every good look you can kind of ball and rely on Kyle Lowry or rely on Jimmy Butler. Bam Adebayo would probably lock up Siakam. Siakam would do the same to Bam. I would much rather see the Celtics. I feel like Jason Tatum is really good. Jaylen Brown can hit some clutch shots. Kemba Walker scares me, but he's not scaring me on defense. Although he will fight on defense. The fact is, I would rather play the Celtics. If the Raptors get out of round number 2 and we play them, I don't think we even make the finals. But I would feel much more comfortable if we can play the Celtics. On paper, it looks like we'd rather play Toronto. In my mind, of Mike sitting first, yeah, I'd rather play Boston. And both have really good coaches like Nick Nurse, Brad Stevens, really good coaches. Although Brad Stevens completely forgot to have his guys guard OG Anunoby, but that's a topic for another day. I think the Miami Heat can win the East, but they will not beat the Clippers. They will not beat the Lakers. They will not beat the Rockets. And speaking of the Rockets, we'll get to them in just a little bit. When we come back from this quick advertisement, I'm talking Leonard Fournette and how Tom Brady, I don't want to hear a word from anybody of Tom Brady supporters' mouth. If he sucks this year, we'll get to that. Okay, so number one, the Jaguars are complete fools. I don't know what they're trying to do this year, but nothing screams, we want Trevor Lawrence, like releasing the last good player on your team, and there was no reason behind it. Like, I was the first one to say, this seems kind of fishy. Why would the Jaguars release a really good player? It's like, was there an ugly fallout? Was there a scandal? No, they just wanted to get rid of him. Makes no sense to me. Absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Gardner Minshew, cashew, save the day. I don't know. But now Leonard Fournette did the worst thing for Brady haters like myself. He signed with the Buccaneers. I don't know what it is with this crap of signing with the Buccaneers this year, but Gronkowski came out of retirement just so he can ride to another ring. Speaking of riding teams to another ring, how about that guy, Tom Brady? Boy, this is just incredible. This is literally incredible to me. How much help does Tom Brady need? And that's not just a joke. That's an honest thing. How much help does Tom Brady need? Because this right here is frustrating. And I'm not saying, I'm not being a sore loser saying, well, they don't deserve Leonard Fournette. No, I get it. They're playing their cards right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's the cream of the crop. 43-year-old Tom Brady, that's the standard. Are we kidding right now? Rob Gronkowski has not played football in over a year. We expect people are drafting Mike Evans in fantasy, and I'm trying to figure out why. The dude, Tom Brady is 43 years old. Unless Mike Evans is playing behind the line of scrimmage, Tom Brady's not going to throw it up to Mike Evans. He can't. His arm hurts. If Mike Evans breaks out this year, I don't want a soul to come back to this. You know what I'm saying. Leonard Fournette is not the difference. He is the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae. Okay? Or you go to Dairy Queen, you see how I want an ice cream sundae. And like you're sitting there waiting, like 15 minutes, Rob Gronkowski comes in. All these guys want to sign with you. You're sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. And finally, they say, hey, here's your ice cream sundae. They turn it over. Here you go. I don't know if they do the ice cream sundaes, but here you go. And you're like, hey, you guys have any cherries? Like, because I think you're missing a cherry. Oh, yeah, here. That's Leonard Fournette. That thing was already going to be delicious. It was already going to be really good because it's Dairy Queen. But you had to add the cherry on top just because I don't know why. Like, I love cherries on top of ice cream sundaes, but I've never understood why they're so important to people. Like, this is like a complete random limb here. But a cherry on top of an ice cream sundae, boom, it's gone. Now let's eat the sundae, right? We didn't need the cherry. It just made it taste a little sweeter. My point is, there is no excuse why the Buccaneers should not only make the playoffs, but should win the Super Bowl as we know it. This is absolutely, and again, I'm not saying it's unfair that the Buccaneers signed Leonard Fournette. I'm just saying I don't want a stinking soul to come back and tell me how Tom Brady was just 43 and he lost it, and it's the Buccaneers. No, this is getting absurd. We already have the ice cream sundae, and here comes the cherry. Heck, it might even be your second cherry on top, okay? Like, maybe there was already a cherry, and you said, hey, can I have another cherry just for the heck of it, okay? There is nothing else this does but solidify the argument that Tom Brady has absolutely no excuse. The Buccaneers' defense is young enough. They're going to keep on growing as the year goes on. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard, who I still like, Cameron Brate, Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette, Tom Brady. The list goes on and on and on. Do not make excuses for this team unless 5 guys tear their ACL and they're all the guys I just mentioned, okay? Leonard Fournette is just the cherry on top of this thing. It's the extra syrup on the stuff that you already had. This is ridiculous. And again, why the Jaguars feel possessed to do this, I don't know. But heck, it's fair game. I swear to you, if I hear one person say anything about I'm going to cry. I don't like, okay, I give up. I can't do the sports thing anymore because I can't win with people who don't know context. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so the Houston Rockets, right? Transitioning back to the NBA, and then we'll get to my guy, Mitchell Trubisky. So basically, it's 7:22 in the morning, by the way. Hope you guys are feeling good. Basically, the Houston Rockets put the clamps down on the Los Angeles Lakers. We all know this. We know James Harden was very efficient. He is shutting up doubters. I told you guys before the pandemic even occurred, I told you guys the Rockets are a force to be reckoned with. They can give teams fits. I don't know what it is about small ball. Oh, well, they can get bullied inside. Well, good, because the bigs cannot run after those guys all day. They get gassed. Now, granted, as far as the game one was concerned, I feel like what LeBron James and Anthony Davis did was flat out come out unprepared. If there was a game where in the bubble where you said, man, we really need fans right now, this was the game. Lakers were not energetic. The only guy energetic was Alex Caruso, and rightfully so. Because he's the white guy still trying to make a living, okay? It's like me going out there. Of course, I'm going to give it 100%. Everybody else was about like 85, 90%. And LeBron James had 2 incredible chase down blocks, had a poster, made some really cool-looking three-point shots, and still got spanked by 15 points. And was pulled with 2.5 minutes left. So the real reason I'm talking about this topic is because of what James Harden said, and it might have been overlooked by a lot of people. I'm an attention-to-detail kind of guy, especially when it comes to sports. And here's what James Harden said. I'm quoting here because I don't want to get fired. So James Harden basically said, when we play defense, we can beat anybody, and we're a scary team. If Mike didn't say it first, I don't know who did. I'm telling you guys, something is different. This Rockets team has always been there. They couldn't beat the Warriors, and I don't know why. Probably because the Warriors were playing their game. Maybe getting rid of Clint Capella was the difference. All I know, I will not be surprised if the Rockets beat the Lakers and turn around and beat the Clippers and win the whole thing. I am serious about this. I'm not picking it, but I'm saying do not come back crying to Mike saying you picked the Lakers. I did, and I still do. But do not tell me Rockets don't have a chance. I have been mocked all year that, the Rockets, they're playing small ball. They're not going to get past the Lakers or the Clippers. That's fantastic. I've been told all year I don't know basketball because every single year I make these predictions, I don't know anything. When I picked the Giants to beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl, I didn't know anything. Patriots are the best team ever and whatever, right? When I picked Daniel Jones to be a really good starter over Dwayne Haskins, I was stupid. When I said Andrew Luck would be better than RG3, I was stupid. When I said Tim Tebow couldn't throw a football, I was ridiculous and stupid. I'm still picking the Lakers. And God forbid if they don't win in 5. That would be the most awesome thing as a LeBron James fan. was if the Lakers just spanked them the rest of the way. And they are capable of doing such things. But if the Rockets continue to give these guys trouble, just remember who told you it was possible. I don't know what you guys want. A cookie? A drink aid? I don't know. Mitchell Trubisky has been named the starter over Nick Foles, despite public speculation. And I want to make it clear when I say this. This is the best coaching move of Matt Nagy's coaching career. All I've heard from people, and from Bears fans to NFL fans in general, was this guy came from the Andy Reid coaching tree. This guy is a brilliant offensive mind. Spare me your spare parts with that BS. Stop it. If I hear one more dude that comes from the Belichick or Andy Reid coaching tree, stop that. I'm going to explode. It looks so stupid that we give coaches passes just because they came from a coaching tree of a brilliant mind. That doesn't make you good. It means you're riding coattails and you have to prove yourself. Granted, it helps being under Belichick and Andy Reid, but it does not make a difference. You are still held accountable. And Matt Nagy's not been held accountable. I told you guys there was literally a game last year when the Bears threw the ball 54 times in a one-score game. And that is unacceptable. If my quarterback is so bad, why is he throwing 54 times when you have David Montgomery in the backfield, who was looking pretty nice as a rookie? But now it gets to the point of Nick Foles, and why isn't Nick Foles a starter, Mike? Or you cannot tell me, yes, I can tell you, Nick Foles is not good. I love what Nick Foles did to the Patriots because I thought it was awesome. Nick Foles started his career with like 21 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. But nobody talks about that. Nick Foles started in the playoffs and ran through the NFL. Because of that moment, forget 21 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, which is insane. Because he beat the Patriots. That's the difference. No, it's not. Imagine having a good, hungry team around you. You might win a game or two. I have never seen a quarterback that gets hot and cold like J.R. Smith does in NBA games. It is, I don't know what it is, but Nick Foles, when he's locked in, is pretty good. When he's not, he's 0-4 as the Jaguars starter, and he's being beat out by Mitchell Trubisky, who supposedly, according to a lot of people, sucks. Whatever. Now, I will still remind you people, 2 things. Number 1, I am not just dying on a Mitchell Trubisky hill here. I'm not just sitting there telling you guys, well, Trubisky's the second coming of Christ. He should have been picked over Mahomes and Watson. Everyone knows that was a bad draft pick by the Bears. But it seems fishy to me that all we do is blame Trubisky when literally, 2 years ago, the guy was 4 Cody Parkey field goals away from winning a playoff game. Oh, well, that's just an excuse. No. If Cody Parkey was a water boy, you know dang sure in your heart of hearts and in your functioning brain, and I swear to God, some people still have, you know darn well Trubisky wins a playoff game. And I don't want to hear anything else about it. That's not an excuse. That is the fact. If Cody Parkey was a water boy and not a professional kicker, there were literally Bears fans practicing kicks that Cody Parkey missed. That was a thing. But it was all Trubisky's fault. Funny how things change when recency bias keeps on coming. I'm just saying. When we come back, we'll have a show recap. And plus, is college football worth it without certain big-name teams?
James A. Paxton here, weekly blog writer and host of The Media's Input, and this is 12 Ounce Sports.
It's Wednesday, my dude.
Fantastic. It's all this money, and that's it? We're okay with that? No. Baloney. I'm going to tell you what I think should happen.
The one, the only king on the ice himself, Philly Pete, and we are live on 12 Ounce Sports.
and Zingo TV, channel 760.
We talk about this every single week. Every single week somebody else is up for the document.
Everyone to Talking Miners.
We're getting new at this thing. Great start to the show, everybody. Oh,
I'm going to give you all 30 seconds to make sure you get your popcorn and your soda can.
Welcome in live to the 12 Ounce Sports Studios.
World Hockey Report live comes here on 12 Ounce Sports. Cody Jansen with you, joined with Cam
It's
Jansen.
the one and only Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper. And I got the Angles, the primetime Angles on 12 Ounce Sports.
Smarter by watching the Captain Lou Extravaganza live every Tuesday night at 8 on the 12 Ounce Sports Network.
For the marching exercise, you want to sit down in the center front of your chair, bring your feet shoulder width apart, and form a 90-degree angle with your knees. From here, you're going to lift one foot and raise the opposite arm, just as you march in place in your chair. Make sure you keep that core nice and tight and you breathe into it, and also maintain good posture with a straight back.
Okay. Before we get to our last topic, here is a show recap presented by TeleonSportsNetwork.com/Amazon. The best part about this link is it literally costs you nothing. See what it does. If you're an Amazon shopper, you like getting things the next day. I see the Amazon Prime trucks all around. And if you like that stuff, it's fine. We're not stopping you. Just go through that link. You'll go straight to Amazon. You'll be fine. But Amazon will say, hey, they were sent by 12 Ounce Sports. Let's give them a little money, which means shows like me and the whole station can get money, and we can start improving and making your lives better. Because who doesn't love making money off these sports parlays? A lot of guys like Pop DiBiase, Pete Tucker from Pete's Power Plays. I think his last name is Tucker. The Vegas Squares. So many people on this station can help you make money. But we need production money first. The future's bright at 12 Ounce Sports. And to make it even brighter, 12OunceSportsNetwork.com/Amazon. Just click the link. You'll go straight to Amazon. Your life is fine. It literally costed you nothing. It wasted you no time whatsoever. But here's our show recap, because it's time to stop paying bills and start getting to action and working again. Okay. So, Giannis Antetokounmpo, I'm still not sure if he's going to leave Milwaukee, but getting swept might make him do so. And I think it would be a foolish move. Oh, he could join Golden State. He could join LA. He could join Miami. As a Miami Heat fan, there is nothing more I would love than seeing Giannis make our team even better in Miami. That being said, this has been Giannis' fault. Oh, well, he was only played 32 minutes. Stop it. Giannis has no jumper. You cannot blame Budenholzer for that. Giannis gets frustrated easily. You cannot blame Budenholzer for that. In terms of the team that's been spanking them, the Miami Heat, listen, I love Jimmy Butler. I think we could win the East, and personally, I'd rather face the Celtics than the Raptors, because Raptors might beat us. But I believe the Heat will probably get out the Eastern Conference now. As a Heat fan, that sounds biased. I picked the Heat to beat the Bucks in 6. 4 would just be amazing. I would be drooling. And I think we've done great. But hey. Leonard Fournette to the Buccaneers is literally the cherry on top of your Dairy Queen ice cream sundae. We don't need the cherry. The cherry is just a sweet little thing to say, okay, now I can eat the rest of this. The syrup is already there. The ice cream's there. They've already done this thing to the cup. We just got to put a cherry. That's Leonard Fournette. He didn't need to go to Tampa Bay, but it just made Tom Brady's job that much easier. And God forbid if I hear an excuse this year. Whatever. Matt Nagy made the first coaching good job of his career by promoting Trubisky or keeping Trubisky the starter over Super Bowl champion Nick Foles. Nick Foles is like J.R. Smith, and I don't know why I didn't ever expect a quarterback to be like J.R. Smith, but Nick Foles is that guy. He's not very good otherwise. Kudos to Matt Nagy for finally getting something right. Okay. Our last topic of the morning. It is 7:36 a.m. Eastern Time. So you know what that means? We're getting close to the wrap-up time. Chipotle, sponsor me. Okay. So, college football did resume yesterday. I was watching Army blow the brakes off of Middle Tennessee State while I was at Buffalo Wild Wings. It was like 35-0 in the third quarter. The game was over. College football is back with no fans. And I'm telling you what, it's still competition. It still looks nice. It's cool. It's sports. But is it even worth it? Is it even worth it? The fact is, this year, Clemson is the obvious favorites. Trevor Lawrence is coming back, and it's time to just beat the brakes off of teams in the ACC and coast through it. Alabama supposedly has a good quarterback. We don't know yet. Tua is gone. But you mean tell me we're going to do this without Iowa State, without Penn State, without Ohio State, without Oregon? Is that what we're about to do here? Like, it would be one thing if the Pac-12 was gone. And no disrespect to the Pac-12. I understand you guys. It's entertaining. But let's be real. The only reason why people would want to see the Oregon Ducks is because of their jerseys. And I'm okay with that. I love the Nike jerseys that the Ducks wear. That being said, Ohio State being out of this year is just stupid. The whole Big Ten is always a threat to be reckoned with. And yet here we are with Clemson and who else they're going to play. People were wondering if there would be an asterisk in the NBA bubble. There's no need to wonder in college football. There is absolutely zero reason to play this season and crown a champion. Jamar Chase is already sitting out the season to prepare for the NFL draft as the LSU's receiver. Not that LSU is going to be any good this year. If I'm Trevor Lawrence, I said. Of course, Justin Fields is going to be out. I would just say forget about it. This is ridiculous. And I love college football. I understand people want to see it. It's not worth it without these two Big Ten and Pac-12 leagues. It's not. Completely unfair to sit there and say, oh, well, we're just going to crown a champion. No, you're not. No, you're not. Listen, I'm not saying Clemson wouldn't win it all. But at least give Ohio State a chance to upset them, please. Not a fan. I'm not a fan of this year being that way. NFL is much more prepared for this. NCAA, they're never going to give this up, but they are just ridiculous. It's quite pathetic if you ask me. No, it's not worth it. One more word from Drinkade, and then we'll see you guys later.
Drinkade, ready for distribution worldwide.
Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday and the rest of your weekend. If you're not working this weekend, just remember to take it easy. Watch some NBA playoff games. Get ready for fantasy football. It's almost here, baby. It's almost here. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at MKADHD. To interact, socialize, the whole 69 yards. And go to mybookie.ag, enter the promo code 12OUNCESPORTS for the $1,000 deposit bonus. That's MyBookie will, up to a $1,000 deposit bonus that MyBookie will give you. Enter our promo code. A lot of sports stuff going on. But make some money. All right, guys. It's been real. I don't want to drag this out for too long. Until we meet again, have a good one. It's easy like Sunday morning.